Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News. A big update on the Sentinels side with Sacy now getting his visa confirmed and will be coming out to the US to team with Sentinels very soon indeed. Finally, the practice drama of Sentinels over the last several seasons might be coming to an end, if the same can be said for Pancada sooner rather than later. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to discuss today. Firstly, big news coming after the America's VALORANT side with a Players Association formally revealed. So this has been the case in CSGO for some time, and look, a Players Association can be very valuable for various reasons, for contractual stuff between the players and the ecosystem, and also to ensure that the game, upholds some extent of competitive integrity, and various issues the players have can be dealt with. Now, forming one of these is not always an easy thing. In the Call of Duty scene, they've tried before, they can't seem to get the players on board. It's a bit of a challenge. It happened in CS, there's kind of like a governing committee going on there, and it seems like they've managed the same thing here for the America's VALORANT League as well. They come out last night, the America's VALORANT Players Association. Today we are announcing the official formation of the Players Association under the LCSPA. We are working to re-establish team representatives from every major team in the American hub to represent the players of Riot's VALORANT scene across North and South America. They also do this kind of announcement here in Spanish further down. The mission of this group is to make sure that players are provided with complete protection of their rights as athletes. Some immediate goals including establishing leadership, launching a VALORANT contract database for players. That's a very interesting one actually, so players can see what's happening with the other players, because it's always an interesting idea if players were to know how long other players are signed for, which I think we do publicly anyway, on that spreadsheet that I think we saw a while ago, but also potentially, the amount of money that's involved in the contracts. Like, if the players know what the salaries are for other players, which if that was to be kind of, let's say, known information between the players themselves, then that allows the players to have a better understanding of what they might be worth, what to ask for from their teams, and try and make it a bit of a fairer ecosystem in general. So that's what they're trying to do. Building protections for players at all levels will work to amplify the opportunities available to all players by building a group rights program, providing educational tools, and creating a network of supporting advisors. So all sounds good. Whether they can execute on this, I suppose, remains to be seen, but a good update nonetheless. Now, this also big news coming out of the esports GenG kind of page right here. They do an interview with G2 Whippy. Now, this is one of those quotes that I feel like every time I talk about, it ends very poorly for the person who said it. I feel like every few months there's a quote like this that comes out from a various team, and they say something like, oh yeah, we're going to win this event, no problem. Oh yeah, this team is terrible and we're way better than them. Oh yeah, I'm the best player at this particular role in the world, and it always seems to backfire. So this time it's Whippy from G2, formerly of version 1. Maybe this will be the one to break the curse. I don't want to jinx this, but it feels like we can make franchising easily, says Whippy. He's not holding anything back here in terms of his beliefs, in terms of the potential of this roster. ShahZaM, dapr, Whippy, Penny, of course, and Oxy rounding out the 5-man team. And he goes on to talk a fair bit as well about Oxy as a player, and he says, yeah, I play ranked a lot. This guy, always hated this guy because he's really good. You'll play him once against him and always lose, basically, is what he says. Real nice that we got him. He's actually unreal from seeing him in scrims. He dominates everyone. The guy is actually really good. So some promising signs there if you guys are a G2 supporter. Now, if we scroll down further, you'll find this, which is really where the money is, under this segment on transitioning to the full-time controller and his beliefs that he can do that very well. But then he gets asked the question, what are the team's goals? And do you think there's a significant gap between the challenger teams and the partner teams? I don't want to jinx this, he says, but I feel like we can make franchising easily. Just look at the results in scrims, how fast we improve. We had a similar thing at version 1 where we were improving fast, and you could just see that we were a good team as a result. So yeah, do you think that the same thing is going to occur here? Because G2, of course, it's not easy for them. To qualify for franchising, you've got to win Ascension. That means, first of all, you've got to qualify for Tier 2, which are that you can get an invite, which probably will get confirmed in the new year or at the end of this year sometime. If you don't get invited to Tier 2, then you've got to qualify for it at the start of January, start to mid of January. That should still be achievable. Once you get to Tier 2, you've then got to do well enough in challenges to qualify for the Ascension tournament in June. Then you've got to win Ascension, and then you get into the main league. So, that's quite the difficulty to actually achieve there. And it is, of course, very possible to achieve, but nonetheless, there were other great teams. The Guard, FaZe, M80, Riot, GG, the team that many people were expecting to be very strong as well. So yeah, just the fact that he says easily makes me feel like this might backfire a little bit on Whippy and ShahZaM and the rest of the G2 guys. But nonetheless, of course, it's good that they are confident that their team can do well going into the new season. Now, as we dive into the Sentinel stuff, wanted to mention this from zyppan, because last night, of course, the last couple of days, I've been following the tournament that zyppan has been playing online with, various different teammates, to be honest. And this is the roster that they come up with. And zyppan successfully had 6 16 different agents played. He played 16 different maps, he played 16 different agents, and he won the whole of it. Kind of crazy stuff. This was the grand finals match here between Where is Fullerton, they changed their name to from Cry is Free, up against Kitten Shelter. And I mean, yeah, this is the overall result. We can see Deckanair runs the Viper, then the Sky, then the Euro on the final map of the series, and they still win it relatively comfortably in the end. It was 2-1. It was Breeze 13-11 to Kitten Shelter, then 13-6, then 13-4. Job done. Zekken and Co win the tournament, and well, they of course win $1,250 between them for the victory. But it's not really about this event victory. It's more about the event victory that they might be able to get at the LAN event coming up in January. So if you guys scroll down a little bit further here, if I click on NSG Lockdown Finals here on VLR.GG, you guys can see the 10,000 USD tournament in Fullerton, California, happening in the middle of January. And as I said yesterday, of course, they're now fully qualified for this, the Whereas Fullerton guys, their roster will not appear here. But maybe Sentinels need to use that time to practice, especially if they are falling behind a little bit as it stands, which they may well be, because Sacy confirms last night, finally at least from his side, as he says, at the age of 17, I was leaving Gen.G because of games. At the age of 25, I'm going to another country because of games. My grandma would understand none of this, but she sure would be proud. Visa finally approved LA soon. So this is the key point here from Sacy, that finally the visa has been sorted from his side, and he's flying out to LA to then play with the team. Now, it's just kind of funny how this works, because of course last season, even the season before, there was all the talk about, Sentinels not practicing, not putting in the time. That was the standard meme that was thrown around. The Sentinels Cup, they never put any time to practice. Now, in fairness, they haven't been able to practice with this new team so far because they can't get the team out there in person. The same issue is being dealt with by NRG. They haven't got artists out there yet. There are some questions from the NRG side. Even FNS was mentioning, what are they going to do if they can't get artists in time? Like, are they going to get a sub in? Are they going to have to put Som on a different role? Like, are they going to get Marved back, like, immediately and put Som on the role that artists would play? I don't know, but it's a complication that they would like to not have to deal with in an ideal world. But they do have to deal with it, and this is another part of it from the Sentinel side, with Sacy finally approved, as Zekken says, Vermos, right? Like, he's coming out there. So that is one piece of the puzzle. But even with Sacy there, they still need to get Pancada there as well. I believe there was a clip that he came up with on stream a little while ago where he was discussing this and saying, well, it's in progress. And look, if Sacy's got it sorted, you'd think Pancada would get it sorted. But visa's always a complicated one, especially, I imagine, getting to the US, because you've got to prove various things. You've got, the actual person that's working on getting your visa done. They've got to be compliant. There's reasons why it can take shorter times, it can take longer times. And that's probably why Riot, to a certain extent, started the season a little bit further out than maybe they would have done, just so these players can get everything sorted out. So Sacy is going to be out there in LA soon, but even if he is, can they actually get practicing immediately? Because here we are on, the 22nd of December here. Of course, there's going to be a break over the holidays, and that's also an issue as well, is that, let's say you're trying to get a visa over the holiday period. Like, no one does any work then anyway. You think the visa people are working harder like the 23rd, 24th of December to get this sorted? Highly doubt that one. I don't reckon any work's going to get done with that until the new year. So yes, Sacy might have been improved now, and if Pancada's approved over the next day or two, then maybe fair enough. But if not, it might be until January, at which point, by the time Pancada can finally get to the US, we're talking mid-January, and then we're talking, 4 weeks effectively until Sentinels play their first game at the Sao Paulo event in Brazil for the kickoff. Now, there is, of course, the tournament that Tarek and Ludwig are hosting at the early part of next season, where Sentinels, I think, were potentially going to try and attend, or I think Tarek and Ludwig wanted to get Sentinels to attend, but they might not be able to because they might not have their full roster in attendance. So, what do you guys expect to happen here? Obviously, good news for Sentinels. The Sacy's going to get out there, but nonetheless, it's still dragging on this time, and it does mean that teams like 100T and Cloud9 that do have their full roster can arguably get further and further ahead of their competition. Now, yes, Sen and of course NRG will catch up quick when they do get their full team in attendance, but it is a disadvantage for the start of the season to have, less practice, especially in a new meta where everything is changing quite rapidly in terms of what's actually valuable and can be utilized effectively. And even George Geddes, right, goes on to say here he comes up with his American power rankings for the Americas League, and this is what he comes up with. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily that good, but it's still, kind of gets the point across that he's got 100 Thieves up top here. He's rating NRG quite highly with an OpTic core. There's an argument that without Ye and without Marv, they won't be anywhere near as good, which I think might be true to an extent, but still, they could well be up there with that core from the former OpTic team. Then he's got Cloud9 and Sentinels, so, 4 teams. He's got an SNA. All the North American teams probably should be favoured, right, with, of course, Loud, Crew, Leviathan, many teams making some significant changes, and then EG down here in the C tier. But given the fact that 100T and Cloud9 are getting all this time to pull ahead of the competition, it might be a bit of a challenge for NRG GenG and Sentinels to catch up once they can, which you'd imagine will happen relatively soon. But even, you know, when the 100 Thieves have got a player like Bang, who has won the award last night for the NA Most Improved Player of the Year, which there's no doubt about that one. This guy was absolutely, I mean, look, he was good, don't get me wrong, but now he's absolutely absurd. Not just his aim, but his ability, his team play is just phenomenal. What he's capable of. Also seems a really mature guy, because I think I saw a clip a couple of days ago where he was talking about the TSM situation, and he didn't say, oh yeah, those guys, they didn't understand what I was capable of. They just, you know, dropped me because they thought I was terrible, but actually I'm a god tier player. He actually admitted, like, I wasn't the greatest player at the time. I can understand why they didn't want me in their team. I had to work to improve, and he certainly has done since he has joined 100 Thieves. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.